Hey everybody, today we're going to be talking about the new Marvel movie, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. This is going to be a spoiler-heavy review. Big, mega spoilers from the beginning to the end for this one. If you want to know generally what I thought about this movie, not good. But okay, we'll get to that in greater detail now. So this movie arrives at a point where I have a very low opinion of this new Marvel MCU phase, okay? In my book, all the kind of good MCU movies kind of ended with Black Widow. And then we got this kind of new phase of movies and TV shows. The TV shows I feel have been, to be kind, a mixed bag with some very minor highs and some very big lows. The movies, similar. Some very average movies and some very not very good movies. No Way Home is the last movie I saw, the last Marvel movie I saw. It was, like I said, very average. Okay, very average. Criminally average. It was my least favorite of the new Spider-Man movies, and I had a bunch of questions after watching that movie. I sat through the Moon Knight TV show, which was okay. It was okay. It wasn't bad. I did enjoy it for the most part. It was solid. It was good. So that's it. That's where I'm at with Marvel. So I went into this movie and I was kind of excited to see it, honestly, because I feel like Doctor Strange didn't really get like a chance to shine too much, like in those movies, especially like the first Doctor Strange movie. I felt was a little weak. One of the weaker Marvel movies, really. It had some really cool visuals. And I think the build-up was quite good to like the story of Stephen Strange, etc. But it kind of fell apart for me at the end. Like the end just felt like a big joke, and it was just kind of annoying. And the villain as well, I felt was really weak. So yeah, that was my experience with the first Doctor Strange movie. I was hoping we'd get finally a good, more epic Doctor Strange movie where Benedict Cumberbatch can really kind of like have fun with it. And I was excited at the fact of two things. We have Danny Elfman doing the music, which I'm always happy about, and we have Sam Raimi coming back to Marvel to direct this movie. Sam Raimi is an excellent director, huge fan of the Evil Dead movies, Darkman, The Quick and the Dead, the Spider-Man movies, obviously. I like pretty much everything Sam Raimi's done, so I was excited about this new movie. I thought, hopefully it would end up being a little bit darker, a little bit meaner, and it is definitely that. There is I do remember there being a lot of problems with this movie, with the development of this movie. Okay, I don't remember exactly what they were. I know they changed the director. Famously, they changed the director, but also I think this one's been in development. Not development hell, but production hell for a little while. So yeah, it feels like this was a hard one to nail down from the script to the image, and you can feel that. Unfortunately, you can feel that in this movie. This is a very messy movie, and if you look at it just quality wise, is it a good movie or not? It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad on the whole. Yeah, it's people gave a lot of crap to Thor: The Dark World, but at least Thor: The Dark World had a pretty coherent storyline. Like it was very simple, no big bells and whistles. Here, they try to do a lot of things. This movie is a lot. Okay, they try to do 10,000 things in this movie, and the result is you end up with a movie that feels like 3 or 4 movies that are fighting for control. Like for example, you've got a very dark, mean, and very playful kind of Sam Raimi movie in there. You've got that movie in there, but you also have a very kind of like cheesy kind of CW tier, TV show about America Chavez or whatever. That's very cringy. You also have the classic MCU crossover where everybody shows up. And you have like other stuff as well. So you've got like all these movies fighting for control of this one movie. And okay, this could actually work. I think this could have actually worked, especially in something called the Multiverse of Madness. And yeah, I mean, this is very much like the first movie to really explore the multiverse in a big way. I mean, No Way Home did a little bit. Okay, this is where the cracks open and we started seeing kind of effects of that. But this is the one where you really go deep into the multiverse stuff. Um, and yeah, it's not good. This movie is not good, but it is ambitious, and it does have some good things to it. What is the movie about? The movie is about a Doctor Strange encounters a character called America Chavez who has the power to move into different multiverses. Okay, she can do this, but she can't do it at will. She can only do it when she's really scared. Okay, she just gets transported into a random multiverse, and then God knows where she ends up. She was trying to do something with another Doctor Strange in another multiverse. They were trying to get some kind of magic book to try and stop, hell from breaking loose, and it didn't work out. That Doctor Strange died, and so she ends up in our Doctor Strange's universe. So, and in this universe, the Scarlet Witch, whom initially Stephen Strange was going to get, to help him out, is actually the Scarlet Witch is a full-on villain in this movie, and it's the first time we've seen her as a full-on villain since Age of Ultron. But this is another level to, because she is really the Scarlet Witch. She's not just Wanda Maximoff. So in this movie, she is full on the Scarlet Witch from beginning till end. Her goal is to harness the power of America Chavez to go into another universe where she can be a mother to her children, even though she doesn't actually have children. But in WandaVision, she created some children for herself. And she got used to that, and she wants to feel that again, this being a mother thing. So she wants to basically take over the role of mother from another one of her selves, from another universe, using America Chavez as a kind of gateway to that. Of course, Doctor Strange and all the other wizards are trying to stop her from harnessing that power, because first of all, she could kill America Chavez. Who knows what she's gonna do? Yeah, God knows what she's gonna do with the multiverses. She could screw everything up, which is already kind of screwed up. Anyway, so you've got this big war right off the bat between all the sorcerers and led by the Sorcerer Supreme Wong and Doctor Strange, of course, against the Scarlet Witch. So it's a big battle. And actually, this movie opens big. This movie opens with a big fight in the city between Doctor Strange. Well, actually, it opens with the kind of multiverse, kind of trying to get the book kind of sequence, which is very big and intergalactic and crazy. Very cool. Very cool looking scene for the most part. We'll get to details of that. But after that, you get kind of a scene where Stephen Strange is going to Rachel McAdams, her character Christine. Is it Christine or Christina? Let's go with Christine. Her wedding. She was like his kind of love interest in the first movie. She's getting married to someone else, and he's kind of sad about that. Whatever. So after that, there is a huge sequence that kind of reminds me of the Suicide Squad kind of end sequence where they're fighting this big, like, weird eyeball. Similar thing here, but it's at the start of the movie. So Doctor Strange is fighting this giant eyeball monster with tentacles in the city. And it's a really cool action sequence until America Chavez shows up. And she is terrible. I mean, I'm just going to say right off the bat, America Chavez is awful in this movie. To the point where I would recast. I would recast / rewrite this character because this is not working. Wow, what a bad character. I mean, we're talking like Supergirl on the CW kind of like tier character here. The performance is terrible, first of all. The costume's okay, I guess. Nothing special. The characterization, like the things that the things that the character does during the action sequences and stuff, is horrible. Like most of the time, she's just kind of like this, and it gets so annoying because at some points you're like, run, do something. What the hell are you doing? She's like a freaking deer in headlights the whole movie, and it's so annoying. And this whole thing about like, oh, I can't control my power, and then she controls it in 5 seconds. Give me a freaking break. She didn't even try. She didn't even try to control her power. And it's just like, that would have saved so much time. She is just an awful character. I don't know what else to say. Like, just the performance is terrible. Yeah. The only cool thing about that character is the power itself, which I like that there's a big star that appears, and it's like a gateway to another multiverse. That's kind of cool. But just what a horrible character. And I thought initially this was okay because it was going to be kind of a cameo in the first sequence. No, she's in the whole movie. She's a huge, huge part of this movie. And it is, wow, it's a scene killer. It really is. If you have a scene which is Doctor Strange talking to America Chavez, that scene, you know, is worthless because America Chavez is in it. Simple as that. Simple as that. People will tell you on Twitter or whatever, oh no, she's great. She's a great character. The only problem is that she's not like that exactly in the comics. No, that's not. She's terrible. She is horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. Partly because of the actress, I'm sorry to say. Partly because of the direction. Also, very sorry to say. Mostly because of the writing. The writing is trash in this movie, and it's a shame. It really is a shame because they have a good story here. I feel like they have a good story here. It is just handled horrendously. The war between the sorcerers and the Scarlet Witch is cool. I enjoyed that fight. I enjoyed, actually, this movie. One of the good things about it is its action sequences are very, very, very ambitious and very big and very colorful and bright. And inventive. And this movie has some of the nicest images, coolest images in the whole MCU. Like, easily. This movie has some kick-ass fucking visuals. Like, no doubt about it. This movie has some really, really cool visuals. I'll give it that. And the action sequences, like I said, that was one of the problems I had with No Way Home. You had this really cool action sequence with Doctor Strange, right? The fight between Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. But all the other action sequences were garbage. They were garbage. Let's be real here. Like, No Way Home lacked a good amount of, and actually all the Spider-Man movies, kind of like Homecoming had that kind of issue as well. But the end thing with the scaffolding was just worthless. I don't know, man. It's like I'm a big fan of, like, let's not have every action sequence take place in the dark, because that gets very tiring very quickly. This movie didn't do that, and I really appreciated that. This movie at least shows you a lot of different worlds and stuff. It shows you a lot of cool, backgrounds and images. And visually, this movie is a treat. It really is. It's a treat. It's really, really cool. It's where everything else comes in, where it just falls apart, I'm afraid. So the story, the way it goes is Doctor Strange fights the Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is flat out murdering people in this movie. Yeah, I mean, this movie makes no excuses. This movie's like, she's murdering people. Okay, she's the main villain. That's it. She is the main villain of this movie. And I didn't expect that. I expected her to be possibly an ally to Doctor Strange in the beginning. And then later on, she turns bad. But straight away, we get into this war. Okay? And the war leads to Doctor Strange and America Chavez ending up in another universe, okay? And Scarlet Witch also manages to open this kind of book, whatever it's called, like some evil book that allows her to, tap into a different universe kind of thing and take over another Wanda Maximoff, etc. And there's a really cool sequence in the movie where Doctor Strange and America Chavez are like flying through different universes, and there's like one that's like a cartoon, there's one where they're all made of paint, there's one where they're all made of this, where it's like that, it's the future, it's it's like all these different multiverses. So the universe that they end up on, this is where all the cameo dump happens, the famous cameo dump, where you get a whole bunch of cameos in one go, and you're meant to go, wow, that's so cool, oh my god, I recognize this character. But it really isn't cool, because it's not done in a way that's like particularly interesting. So they basically bring these two characters to this other universe where Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, who was in the original film, is obviously kind of a bad guy, and he introduces us to the Illuminati. Okay, and the Illuminati includes a selection of random heroes, I guess. So it's very much we're in what if territory here. Okay, so you got Captain Marvel, but it's not Brie Larson. You've got Mr. Fantastic, which is John Krasinski, which I guess people were excited about. I'm not really like. I sort of get it why he would make a good fit for that, and his performance was okay in the role. I just find it very hard to get excited, for the Office guy playing a superhero, but whatever. There's a guy from the Inhumans with like a really deadly superpower, and then you've got Agent Carter, Captain Carter, or whatever. It's basically Agent Carter if she was Captain America. And there's another one. Oh, yeah, Professor Xavier, who shows up, and it's Patrick Stewart. And it's so corny the way they do it. It's like he shows up in the kind of yellow floaty thing from the cartoons, and you hear do 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 do, and it's just like, oh my god, it's so cringy. It's like one of these like big cameos where you just like, I find myself just cringing instead of just being like, hell yeah. I think the way they should have done it is just not hint at it at all, and just have it be more of a part of the story instead of like, check this out. Which is getting very tiresome. All these cameos are getting very tiresome. I miss the early days of the MCU, where they would introduce something cool, maybe once a movie. Once per movie, they would show you one cool new thing. One cool new character would show up, or would be a part of the movie. And then little by little, we'd build up things. Whereas here, it's like the Avengers movie. Every movie is an Avengers movie where there's like 10 cameos in there, to the point where it's like if you go to like a cafe, okay, let's say that. You go to a cafe and they give you a little chocolate. That's nice. A little chocolate. Delightful. It's like, yummy. But every time you go to the cafe, what if they throw 20 chocolates at you? And you have to sit there and eat it. You have to eat 20 chocolates. Every day, every time you go to the cafe. It gets too much. It's too much. It's just too much. Sometimes you just want to go in, have a coffee, and just maybe have one chocolate, Maybe Professor X could have been introduced in this movie towards the end or something. Maybe one character is good. Maybe the Fantastic Four guy, that would have made a cool way to introduce him. Fine, yes, I can see that. All of these together, it becomes too much. And you know what? I'm going to be honest as well. I am getting tired of the whole green screen shit. Because now I can tell. After, all these movies, I can just tell they're just all in front of a green screen all the time. And it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts. Because a lot of the time, like, the lighting is okay. Like, the lighting is well done. But it just doesn't feel tangible. Like, there's way too much CGI in this movie. And I know it's a Doctor Strange movie, so you got to show some crazy shit. But there's some stuff that they show that is really, really cool. And there's some stuff that just doesn't work very well. And I don't know if it's partly because of the way it's shot. For example, the scene where Scarlet Witch steps on this thing in the temple, some slab of rock or whatever. And then everything becomes a kaleidoscope around her, and it's like really wacky and weird, and it's all moving around. I love that. I love that so much. I thought that was awesome. But then when it's like Agent Carter and all the other ones like fighting Scarlet Witch, it looks like shit for some reason. You know what I mean? And I don't know what it is. I think it's just there's too much CGI in those scenes, and it's not particularly creative the way it's shot. Because this movie really, really feels like Sam Raimi was very interested in parts of this script. Okay? So there's scenes in this movie that are shot really, really well in a very Sam Raimi style. And you can tell he's having fun, And there's other scenes where you can tell Sam Raimi's checked out. you can tell Sam Raimi just basically told the studios, can you just direct this part? Because this is nothing to do with me. You know? Like, you can tell the studios came in, it's like, okay, we need Mr. Fantastic. We need Captain Marvel. We need Agent Carter. We need Inhumans guy. We need Professor X. We need all the different Doctor Stranges in there. And Sam Raimi just went, okay, you can do all of that. I'll just take whatever interests me and I'll direct those parts. You know, like, for example, the fight between good and evil Doctor Strange. This part, you can tell Sam Raimi is having a ball. The part with zombie Doctor Strange, you can tell that Sam Raimi's hands are on that scene really, like, obviously. You know, he is loving it. You can tell he's loving it, and you're having fun with him. A lot of the parts with Scarlet Witch, actually, you can tell Sam Raimi's really enjoying that part. Because anything to do with, like, books of the damned and witchcraft and all this kind of shit, you know Sam Raimi's into that, you know? And he nails it. Like, he's great with these parts. It's just that he's been handed a script that has too much fluff in it. It has way too much fluff in it. It feels rushed, a lot of it, a lot of the writing, whether it's the dialogues, whether it's the way the scenes kind of progress from one to the other. There's not much coherence here. About the halfway point, I gave up trying to give a shit about the story. And I think that's a problem with trying to throw too much stuff at you every movie. You know, we already got a big dose of multiverse stuff with No Way Home that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. Now we're getting an even bigger dose right in the face of that, and I feel they should have played it differently. I feel we should have been subtle with it, just like they were doing in the beginnings of the MCU, you know? Like, the first Iron Man movie, it's just Iron Man, okay? Iron Man 2, he's fighting some villains, like, around him, okay, fine. And then you've got a little bit, you've got Nick Fury in there as well, just for the sake of, like, introducing Nick Fury and Black Widow. That's fine, that works for me. That works really well for me. And then Iron Man 3, you're kind of, again, you're a bit more grounded. You have some kind of MCU stuff in there, but not too much. But now it's like Doctor Strange 1, okay? It's kind of, it's not very crossover-y, it's good. Doctor Strange 2, big shit in your face, full of, like, a million things. And it's like, I don't think every MCU movie should, especially, like, the ones about individual characters, should feel like Avengers movies. I feel like they got away with it with Civil War. Civil War was like a very solid crossover movie, as well as a solid Captain America movie. I think they got away with it for Civil War. But after that, I feel like we're going way too much with it. I think Spider-Man, No Way Home, and this movie just feel way too bloated. And the stories, it's hard to give a shit about them. It really is. It really is. I didn't care about a lot of what was going on in this movie. I was just waiting for the Sam Raimi parts to come up, you know? Like, I was just waiting for something. And you get some cool sequences. Like I said, you get some cool images. Like, there's a scene where, like, Doctor Strange is going up this, like, endless staircase. Beautiful images. There's a fight between two Doctor Stranges with all these musical notes. Not sure why that was happening. But anyway, it looked nice. It looked cool. So you got some cool stuff. I like Evil Doctor Strange. You know, there's some cool stuff in there. There's just too much. Like, even at the end, they throw in another cameo. And I don't know who the hell this is meant to be. It's Charlize Theron. I don't care at this point, you know. You got to be careful when you make a franchise like this that you don't overdo it. And we have overdone it in this movie. A lot. Okay? So I'm just hoping that we kind of scale things back a little bit. Just a little bit. So that the Avengers movies they felt like something special, right? Whenever there was an Avengers movie, it was this special event because you knew it was going to be bigger and crazier than anything you'd seen before. And now, you know, the Doctor Strange movies are basically as big, if not bigger, than some Avengers movies. Same thing with Thor Love and Thunder. It looks like it's going to be very much in that vein. And, you know, they're spending a lot more money in it. They're getting more cast members in there. I feel like there's a way to do it that is not as obnoxious as the way they've done it in these new movies. But Multiverse of Madness, I don't know if I recommend this movie, honestly. It is too messy. It is very annoying. But it does have some cool visuals to it. So I would say check it out just for the visuals, just to support Sam Raimi, because I would love Sam Raimi to direct a good MCU film at some point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this one, folks. That's a tough one. It's a tough review, this one, because there is stuff that I liked looking at in this movie, but there's not much in the way of great writing to hang on to, unfortunately. It just really felt like they were making it up as they went along. Like, it felt like if you gave like a 5-year-old like a pen and paper and you're like, can you just write me a Doctor Strange movie? They'll be like, oh yeah, and then Professor X is he tries to go into the brain of Scarlet Witch, and then it's all white, and then there's like a pile of stuff, and then he goes to a pile of stuff, and then he's like, hey, what's going on? And there's another Wanda in there. He's like, don't worry, I'll save you. And then behind him, there's all this red stuff bubbling up. And then he turns around and she snaps his neck. And then freaking Captain Carter comes in. You know, it's just like, it's a stream of consciousness movie where it's just like, man, I was kind of with it at the beginning, despite America Chavez being terrible. But yeah, it kind of went from bad to worse in terms of just kind of like having something to grasp onto. I don't particularly recommend this movie. I would say, yeah, if you go watch it, and I don't necessarily recommend you do, watch it for the visuals. So make sure you watch it on a big screen so at least you can see that. But you'll notice more of the green screen crappiness as well. So yeah, tough review, this one. I might have to go deeper into this one eventually because there's a lot to talk about. Thank you for watching. See you guys later. Watch better movies.